Hey guys, I wanted to talk a bit about minimum wage today. So the federal minimum wage is $7.25. That minimum wage was last raised in 2009, which was a long time ago. So, and interestingly enough, when adjusted for inflation, the minimum wage was $11 an hour in 1968. So in 1968, we were making more than we're currently making right now. And now the Republicans like to say that the 60s and around that era of time were the golden years of America. So if they were the golden years, then you should at least raise our minimum wage to $11 an hour. At least. Now, the U.S. has the lowest minimum wage relative to our median wage out of all the wealthiest countries in the world, according to Huffington Post. And France, their minimum wage makes up 61% of their median national wage. Australia is 54%, Canada is 46%, and the USA, our minimum wage makes up 35% of the national median wage. And that's not even mentioning the benefits our workers don't get, like healthcare and paid days off and sick days and maternity and paternity leave. That all these other developed countries have for their citizens. Now, one of the arguments against raising the minimum wage is the $12 hamburger argument. If we raise our minimum wage so that everybody can live and people can get out of poverty, they'll cost us $12 for hamburgers, and I cannot afford that. No duh, no one is gonna pay $12 for a hamburger. That's ridiculous. It's simple supply and demand. I only took high school economics and I know this. I ain't paying $12 for a hamburger, you're not paying $12 for a hamburger. Everybody will just decide, or the majority of Americans will just decide not to eat out anymore, which will make them lower their prices again because supply and demand. They can only raise the price as much as people are willing to pay, and I am not willing to pay $12. They'll probably raise it 25 or 50 cents more, which I am willing to pay 25 or 50 cents more for my hamburger if I know that the people behind the counter making my food can pay their rent and their car insurance and eat and the basic necessities of life. Another argument is the less employment or less hours argument, that if they're forced to pay us well, then they won't employ us, or they will shorten our hours. Multiple studies have been done by multiple sources that say that actually if you increase the minimum wage, there's no real big difference in how many people are employed, or how many hours people get to work. So no, that's BS too. Now, the liberal position is that we should raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. $15 an hour is the living wage. It's not a whole lot for the entire year, but it is enough that people will be able to pay for the basic necessities of life and, not go bankrupt. 60% of Americans could not survive a $500 emergency. If they got really super sick and it cost over $500, they would go bankrupt. And yeah, we add more to the rate of poverty in America. But a Huffington Post article that was just currently updated said that the minimum wage should actually be $21.72 in 2012, which, if the minimum wage was keeping up with the pace of American productivity, the minimum wage should be $21.72. That was in 2012, so the minimum wage should be more by now then, probably by that standard. But in 2012, that should have been our minimum wage, and I'm all for that if y'all want to do that. And the thing is, if you pay people more, they will have more money to spend, which puts more money in the economy, which means that the cost of things will be lowered because people are buying more of it. So it'll keep prices low, and people will buy more, which will make more business for businesses, and it'll help their bottom line, and it'll help the U.S. economy, since we're trillions of dollars in debt right now, and with the Republican tax plan, we just went further into debt if we can't repeal that. And honestly, the whole thing, a job's a job. If you are working full-time, you should be able to pay to survive. I don't care what that job is. I don't care if you're the CEO of a company or flipping burgers at McDonald's. You should be able to survive off of the wages you're making at a job, because a job is a job. And if you cannot survive on that job, then what is the point of even having a job? Like, and that's really the whole argument. Like, if you have a job, you should be able to survive. Bottom line. End of story.